Welcome to the kingdom. The Humble King Podcast, where real kings speak with purpose. We level up only, let's go hop it.
The biggest battles in life are not always physical. Many of the strongest struggles happen silently inside the mind. Nobody sees them, nobody hears them, but they affect everything a person feels, thinks, and does. The mind is where thoughts are formed, and thoughts slowly shape emotions, decisions, habits, and identity. That is why the mental battle is so important. Every person deals with thoughts they do not always speak about. Thoughts of doubt, thoughts of fear, thoughts of failure, thoughts of insecurity. Thoughts about the past, thoughts about the future, thoughts that create pressure even when everything looks normal on the outside. And when those thoughts repeat over time, they start to feel real. That is where the struggle begins, because not every thought is truth. Some thoughts are emotional reactions. Some thoughts come from fear. Some thoughts come from past pain. Some thoughts come from overthinking situations that have not even happened yet. But the mind does not always separate truth from emotion easily. That is why mental discipline is important. Mental discipline is the ability to recognize thoughts without letting them control you completely. It is learning how to pause, reflect, and not accept every negative thought as reality, because what you repeatedly believe in your mind eventually becomes your mindset, and mindset shapes everything. A negative mindset creates negative expectations. A fearful mindset creates hesitation. A doubtful mindset creates insecurity. A disciplined mindset creates stability. That is why the battle in the mind is so powerful. It is not just about thoughts, it is about direction. Because your thoughts influence your direction in life. If a person constantly thinks they will fail, they start avoiding opportunities. If a person constantly doubts themselves, they stop trying new things. If a person constantly focuses on negativity, they lose sight of progress. But when a person learns to control their thoughts, everything changes. Control does not mean ignoring emotions. It means understanding them without letting them take over completely. Even strong people have moments of doubt. Even disciplined people experience mental struggles. Even confident people deal with internal battles. The difference is how they respond. Some people let thoughts control them. Others learn how to challenge thoughts. That is a powerful shift. Because once you start questioning negative thinking instead of accepting it automatically, you begin regaining control over your mindset. And that control builds strength over time. Another important part of the mental battle is silence. Silence is where overthinking often grows. When everything is quiet, the mind can become loud. It starts replaying past mistakes, imagining worst-case scenarios, or creating pressure about things that have not happened yet. That is why grounding your mind is important. People need moments where they reset mentally, where they slow down their thoughts, where they focus on what is real instead of what is imagined or feared. Because not every thought deserves energy. Some thoughts are just noise. And learning to filter that noise is part of maturity. The mental battle also includes discipline in what you consume, what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, and who you spend time around all influence your mindset over time. The mind absorbs more than people realize. Positive input builds stability. Negative input builds stress. And over time, what you feed your mind becomes your mental environment. That is why protecting your mind matters. Another key part of this battle is self-talk. The way you speak to yourself internally affects confidence more than people realize. Constantly criticizing yourself mentally can slowly weaken self-belief. But learning to speak with patience, encouragement, and honesty builds inner strength, not fake positivity, but balanced thinking. Understanding mistakes without letting them define identity. Because nobody wins the mental battle by being perfect. They win it by being aware. Awareness is the beginning of change. Once a person becomes aware of their thought patterns, they can begin improving them step by step. Not instantly, not perfectly, but gradually. And gradual change is still real change. The mind is powerful enough to create fear, but also powerful enough to create strength. It can build anxiety, but it can also build peace. It can create doubt, but it can also create confidence. The difference is training your mind to recognize negativity without letting it control your direction. That is growth. At the end of the day, the battle in your mind will always exist in some form because life constantly brings new challenges, pressure, and thoughts. But you do not have to lose that battle. You can learn to respond differently. You can learn to think differently. You can learn to grow stronger mentally over time. And every time you choose discipline over fear, awareness over doubt, and peace over panic, you win a small part of that battle. And those small wins eventually shape a stronger mindset. That is the lesson behind the battle in your mind.
Welcome to the kingdom. The Humble King Podcast, where real kings speak with purpose. We level up only, let's go hop it.